So the final journey we have for tonight is the journey that myself and Alexandros have taken only because of Climate-KIC. And would love to share with you the value that Climate-KIC has given to us. I'm going to move around this time, George, thanks. And to share with you the fact that without Climate-KIC, Chrysalis would have been impossible, because the knowledge we've learned from Climate-KIC has kind of filtered through and has eventually ended up with you guys. And so, Ron, thank you for being here again tonight. Please take it back when you meet with your colleagues that you've already helped tremendously with our teams here in Cyprus. You seem to be coming up to stage. Come in, yes. Oh, no, I'll share it in a second. Oh, there you go, okay, yeah. He is excited, and you'll find out why in a second. I'm going to share it at the very end, so feel free. So what I'll tell you now is the journey of a small company called ENERMAP, and how we ended up at the Global Cleantech Open in Silicon Valley, and that we couldn't have done that without the power of accelerators. So ENERMAP, in simple terms, is an online map that displays the energy efficiency of buildings. I'm not going to go into the business model or pitch it to our experts, because that's not the point. The point is, what are we doing and how are we doing it? Well, it all started with Climate-KIC in November 2012, when they decided to host a competition called Open Innovation Slam. Open Innovation Slam was a Facebook contest at first, with quite a few companies or ideas applying, thousands of votes, and the top 10 were selected to go to Berlin for a very, very intense sword fight, face-to-face, for the coveted position of being part of the Climate-KIC accelerator. Despite the fact that Alex looked like Borat because it was Movember and we all had mustaches, we managed to win the first prize, and ENERMAP won the first prize, which you probably are wondering, so what is the first prize? Well, it was 95,000 euros, which for us was an incredible amount of seed capital. It completely allowed us to get started with doing stuff. But we joke about it quite often because, in all honesty, like you say, if they gave us the money right off the bat, we would have totally wasted it the first month. That's not what they did. Their role was to be there to guide us. So there were certain gateways you have to cross. And to guide us, they gave us a selection of 5 incubators, and we chose to go with Imperial College of London, mostly because it's easy to get to London from Cyprus, and not have to go through Vienna for everything. And it was also because our target market was expected to be in London. So we were also given the ability to live in Cyprus and meet with our coaches and mentors over Skype. And we're still accelerated through this process. It is an 18-month journey that ends sometime in 2014. I don't want it to end, to be honest. It's fantastic. But the award and the money was the least of what Climate-KIC has given to us. The most amazing thing was the access to the master classes. We were sent, all expenses paid, Berlin, Vienna, Barcelona, England, Copenhagen. And it wasn't just to any master class. It wasn't just to any professor or teacher or somebody, telling you about a methodology. It was the guy who wrote the book on business model innovation and generation, Alex Osterwalder, that gave us the masterclass. It was the gurus of the startup scene globally who were being flown in to coach us. So an amazing and a tremendous experience for us. They sent us places to be coached, and we were given insane amount of guidance, which allowed us to pivot our idea over and over and over again. ENERMAP looks nothing today than what it looked like when we first started. And this is only because we were able to open up our minds and understand that we need to be pivoting our idea to finally get it to work somehow. And all of this journey, actually, we did some stuff in Limassol, George. We invited the community to help us out. They came in and we hosted some sessions where we asked the experts here locally, what do you think of ENERMAP and who could be the client? And then MIT found out about us, so they invited us to go to Boston. We went to the MIT Energy Showcase and we presented our idea. We built a trade show booth. We had 1,000 people show up in a matter of 3 hours, and we run surveys and learned quite a bit about the US market. All of this prepared us for Silicon Valley and our trip to San Francisco, which just happened last month. And if Silicon Valley is the mecca of entrepreneurship and startups, the Cleantech Open is the pinnacle. for environmental ideas. And then we got some calls from companies, and we called some as well, who said, we'd like to hear about your idea. And we started meeting with people, SAP, Oracle, ENERMAP is a big data type of company, so these were relevant companies to us. We met with government, San Francisco Environment. Alex traveled on a reserve wheel to go to Los Angeles to meet with the Energy Commissioner, or Sacramento. Anyways, so we met with a lot of government officials who were key to our idea. We then went to Twitter, 2 weeks after their IPO, after they just created 1,600 new millionaires in the San Francisco Bay Area. And we asked them, what do you think of our idea? And they were more than happy and willing to actually help us and give us some guidance. Twitter has nothing to do with ENERMAP, but the engine behind Twitter is all about it. And Airbnb, who knows Airbnb? If you can put your hand up. Yeah, there's a few people who use Airbnb. This is the new wave of hotels and traveling like a local. So Airbnb's head office in San Francisco, which in fact every office is modeled after one of their featured listings. So they actually redecorate all their offices according to the listings they have. It was a phenomenal visit, but there's a funny story to tell in a bit. Eventually, it culminated to us meeting the world's leading venture capitals like Venrock, Schlumberger, and Clymer Perkins, who actually listened to our idea and gave us feedback. We're not investment ready yet, by the way, so this was for us an amazing experience and understanding if North America was a market. Above all, we had the opportunity to represent Cyprus at the global stage, where 24 ideas out of 1,000 were selected to present. And it was a tremendous experience for us just to be there and actually share our journey with everybody at the Global Cleantech Open. We pitched, we presented, we got a lot of feedback, and we learned a lot of stuff. So what did we learn? I'm going to share with you just a few of the lessons that are resonating still with us today. Every conversation started with, I have a friend that. And in the States, it's all about network, network, network. Just like in real estate, it's about location, location, location. And they were so willing to help us. They would state their own integrity and reputation because they believed in the idea to say, call this guy, I'm going to call him first on your behalf and tell him to meet with you. And that was almost the only way in. I have a friend that. To us, we already know this, that a network is important, but we had no idea how important it was. So the ability to network and how important that was is a message, a lesson that we learned, we'd like to pass on to you. It's not just about Cyprus, it's all over the world, it's who you know as well. Don't be afraid to be that guy. Alexandros, are you still feeling awkward? Okay. We were that guy. This is Airbnb, and we're meeting with the head of customer service of a company that's in that building hosting 800 employees, and she's employee number 30. And we thought we had a value proposition for them. How about featuring your listings on ENERMAP during environmental week or something of that matter? We're 2 minutes into our lunch, and she starts checking her phone. Her body language is telling us, I have no interest whatsoever in what you're telling me. And we started to be that guy. The guy that's taking your time, the guy you want to get rid of, the guy you don't want to be around. And believe me, I don't know how many of you felt that before, but it's not a good feeling to be that guy. But it was the only way to find out. So the lesson we took from this, after sobbing for an hour or two, wondering why the heck we even wanted to go see them in the first place, and whose idea was it, but at least the offices were nice. Eventually we told her that we're really sorry for wasting your time. She said, no, that's okay, it happens. And then she was more than happy to take a picture with us. So it was a fantastic way of ending the meeting. And we didn't even finish our lunch. We had to go get a sandwich afterwards. But it's okay to be that guy. And you're going to have to be that guy when you're on this journey. This is you as an entrepreneur. You're a lion, and you're waiting for your prey, quietly and patiently to make the attack. And you're wondering who is the prey? Well, it's these guys, the dudes with the money. So these are the people who have the money, or they have something that you want, and your job is to get it from them. So you have to be, quoting the previous lesson, that guy in order to be able to get it from them. And you have to be really aggressive. So here's what we did to practice this. We were fortunate to be in a Berkeley class right at the beginning of the tour, and they told us some of these things. So we kind of anticipated we're going to have to be the lion at some point. We're at Cleantech Open, and Google's venture capital guru, the guy that makes every single decision for where Google will spend its clean tech dollars. This is the world's most clean company, and that invests billions of dollars in clean technology. This is the guy that makes the decision. He's talking to 500 people, and he finishes his talk. And you see 20 people get off their chairs and start to zoom into him, just waiting for him to come out of the meeting room so they can grab his business card. One of them was us. And so we're waiting, and we see an attack, no business card, no kill. Another attack, no business card. And finally, right as before he exits, I go with my business card that says ENERMAP on it and say, I know you're busy, I just need to meet somebody at Google Maps, please. And he says, call me. Rick Needham, I have blackened the boxes because you have to be the lion to get those. But if you do want to get a hold of him, let us know. He did eventually speak to us when we called him. It was Thanksgiving, so it was pretty tough to get people. He didn't reply to our email. And then we called him on his mobile phone, and he replied, sorry, I thought you were somebody else, that's why I picked up. And we were that guy again. And so we thought, you know what? That's fine. I'm sorry to bother you. Can you please have a look at your email because we're leaving tomorrow. We need to meet with somebody. Sure enough, he did, and he gave us the contact. We were flying the next morning, but we're at least now we have a foot in the door at Google as well, which is really important for ENERMAP. Okay. One of the things we learned was that the world has shifted in many different ways, with the industrial economy starting in the early 1900s, and it was all about building more things. Factory workers, assembly lines, just build, build, build. Up until the Second World War, economy shifted into consumer economy, and it was about succumbing to consumer desires. Buy more things. In fact, buy so many more things that now we're renting storage space to put the stuff we bought and we don't want anymore. So just buy, buy, buy. Up until 2008. And this is when the new transformation has happened. We're now moving into what people are calling the creator economy, where we're creating more things. Everybody's getting more interactive, everybody's getting more involved, everybody's building new apps. The consumer is now the manufacturer, and it's all about community and sharing, Airbnb, right? It's all about that. It's all about you getting the power. But the world is moving so fast that the innovation rate is ridiculously faster than what it used to be. And I'm going to go back to what Franz said in the video above. In Europe, it would be lovely to meet with you. And maybe 2 weeks later, you get an email, and 2 months down the road, you actually get a meeting. By that time, you're sitting there wondering why the heck you wanted to meet with them in the first place. In the States, and we practice this, let's have breakfast tomorrow morning. And it worked. All right, 7:30. So the lesson we learned is go for the attack right away. And what the Americans do is actually leave blocks in their schedule to be able to actually do this very thing. So if you want to be part of the change, there's no time to waste. This was a huge lesson to us. It's okay to be on one ski down the slope, and especially to our graduating teams here. When you see somebody skiing down a slope and they're all graceful and they look really professional, that is not how they started. Something like this that ends up with their face right into the snow, okay? So that's how they started. And if you walk on the Stanford campus, what you see is this beautiful serenity of people walking like they know where they're going. And it's all just peaceful and stress-free. Right underneath, this is what's happening. Just like a duck in a pond. They're all paddling away. They're all working really, really hard. It's not what you see, but everybody's working really, really hard to go where they're going. This is the biggest lesson we learned. Failure. And I think this speaks a lot to the culture here in Cyprus, and in fact, European culture as well. You ask an American, especially from the West Coast, about their work, and they tell you, I do X, Y, Z, I've built 3 companies already, and all of them failed. And the other person responds by, really? Tell me more about it. What did you learn? Same thing happens here in Cyprus. You say, I failed. Manamore. Why? Failure is celebrated. It's the only way to learn, and it's a protective mechanism so you don't kill yourself. I mean, by failing, you understand if your business fails, you know to stop. And you know you've learned some stuff to try again. And so a big component to that is culture, family, society. And we need to learn to embrace failure. And thank you, George, for actually saying it in your introduction. Some companies failed, some didn't. And that's perfectly fine. Encourage people to just get it done, try it, and tell them it's okay if you fail. I think the best quote that I really like that relates to this is from Drew Isaacs, the professor at Berkeley, who said, as long as you don't mortgage your house or get money from your family, because you only have one family, you can't change them, the worst thing that can happen to an entrepreneur if their idea fails is get a job like everybody else. So go for it. Give it a go. There's nothing to lose. So kudos to you guys who are actually trying to get your idea done. That's the only way to find out if it works. Ron? Okay, please join me up on stage. I will let you announce it. It's been a long time in the making, and our wish was to be able to give to other Cypriots what we got from Climate-KIC.
Thank you very much. I'm saying this on behalf of Frans Nauta, who is the Deputy Director of Climate-KIC Entrepreneurship in the Netherlands. And we are going to enter in a long-lasting relationship with Chrysalis because I think they deserved it big time. Thank you. Now, what does that mean? It could mean a lot of things. First of all, it's exchange of startups who will make it in the acceleration program. And by the way, when I was talking about the 3 stages, I forgot to say that there are also financial grants to be won, right? Because in stage 1, it's not only testing your hypothesis, but you get a 10,000 euro grant to have the time to actually do it. Stage 2 is at the moment 25,000 euro, and stage 3 is 50,000 euro. So every startup which gets through the 3 phases, and you have to apply for each phase, could actually win, on top of everything that you just mentioned so beautifully, an 85,000 euro grant to go on that 16-month journey. The second thing, and then that's in the process, you know it, I cannot formally still say it, and that's a European Climate-KIC thing, because the budgets are still approved for next year. But what's in the making, it's in this starting cooperation with Chrysalis, is hopefully also a financial contribution from Climate-KIC so they can keep up the good work here in Cyprus. Thank you.
So although it was cold, you actually came with good news, so we really appreciate that. So this is the opportunity for us to give back more and more. So next year is going to be bigger and better. EY, you have first dibs on helping us out for believing in us. And that's not all. Over a tweet some months ago, SAP contacted us from Silicon Valley, and with the opportunity of going to this trip, we actually met with them. SAP wants to use Chrysalis LEAP now to run their startup focus program next year. So that's another announcement for you. Next year, sometime in March most likely, we'll be working with SAP globally to do this, to make this happen. So this is only the beginning. And I would like to thank everybody for believing in us. I'd like to thank the graduates for believing in us and actually giving us their time in exchange for the knowledge. I'd like to thank all of you for coming here tonight and believing in us and feeling that this might be something worthwhile listening to. And I'd like to thank all our mentors and coaches for believing in us to give us their expertise. But above all, I'd like to thank EY for believing in building a better working world. And I'm going to leave you with a quote by Steve Jobs, as said by Guy Kawasaki, one of his senior advisors at the Cleantech Open. And this definitely is true to Chrysalis. Some things need to be believed to be seen. Thank you very much.